Good evening, everybody. Welcome to SCUBA class. You're entering a new world beneath the sea, and the certification is with SCUBA Educators International. We'll tell you shortly why you should be really happy that it's SCUBA Educators International, used to be YMCA. My name is Gabrielli, and we have a great teaching team here that I'm going to have them introduce themselves, but not everybody is here right now. But this is part of our teaching team, and we are all 100% unpaid volunteers with the 501c3 nonprofit organization called Life Worth Leading. So we're going to do some introductions first. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'll have people introduce themselves, beginning with the teaching team, and then we'll go to the students. And students, get ready, because we're going to ask you, what you do and what made you want to learn to scuba dive. Okay, so let me toss it to Ronny.
Hey everyone, I'm Ronny. So I've been diving for 8 years now. I met Gabrielle in the ICU at TMH after I was shot and paralyzed. It helps a lot with my nerve pain. It keeps me active. I love animals and the environment. Studying marine biology at FSU. So I'll be finishing up that shortly. And yeah, thanks everyone for being here.
Thanks, Ronny. Ronny's got a lot more to his story, but I'm super glad that Ronny is here. And Ronny is one of the many people that are in leadership who have benefited from scholarships. So, all right, let's move to Victor.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Victor Blanco. I'm a dive instructor. I've been diving for 35 years. I started when I was 12. I work full-time with University of Florida IFAS Extension in Taylor County. So I'm based in Perry, and I'm the Marine Extension Agent for Florida Sea Grant. I met Gabrielle like 3 years ago because I run the local artificial reef program. I'm the coordinator of that program, and Gabrielle volunteered to help us do the monitoring. It's a citizen science program, which I can talk to you about later. And I became an instructor with her starting in June this year, and with Ronny, we did it together. So it's been a great journey, and I start offering open water classes here in locally in Taylor County, and today we have a couple of students who are running through the Taylor County Reef Research Team, which is also a non-for-profit that supports the local artificial reef program in our county. So I also have a lot of history to tell you, but we will have time for that.
And Victor is amazing and has taught us all a lot, and we're super excited that he's with us and that he's got his students with us too. And we're going to be pooling resources in a lot of ways. Thankfully, Ronny and Victor are both instructors now too, and I think that we've just got a fantastic team. Let's go to Bill.
Everyone, my name is Bill. Look forward to meeting everyone in person, some if not all of you. So I first got interested in scuba diving when I was a lot younger. I went down to the Keys and did some snorkeling around here and there, and seen all the scuba divers really checking things out. So I've always wanted to be a scuba diver and be able to go down myself and see that. I first got my open water certification with the local shop here, Coral Reef. And then I met Gabrielle, got my advanced, my nitrox, all the way up to my Divemaster through her. I've been volunteering with her now for a couple years at least. What else? I guess that's about it.
And Bill is a great dive master. We're so fortunate that he is so active with the Life Worth Leading nonprofit, and he's awesome. All right, let's move to Ximena.
Oh, okay. Hi, I am Ximena Smith. I grew up around the water and have been in the water in different ways my whole life, except for scuba. And then oddly left South Florida where it's nice and warm and came up here and started diving once I was here. So I've been diving for 3 years now. I started the dive program at FSUPC because I do archaeology and I was getting into underwater archaeology, and then just completed also their underwater crime scene investigation program. I met Gabrielle a little bit after starting to dive, about 2.5 years in, and just really not only thought that her agency and her nonprofit are wonderful, but her dive instructing, and she's my dive mentor. She doesn't say that necessarily, I do. I adopted her in that for her. But yeah, I just super was enamored with her diving and her abilities and her strength in general as a person. And so I said, I got to follow this lady around. And so even though I had been doing all this diving with school, aside from that, I did the Handicap Scuba Association Dive Buddy. Start with her at first, and then hopped on to do Divemaster and training with her. So that's what I'm doing here now. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
And Ximena is awesome. And I love it when she says I am her mentor, because she is so cool. Just wait, you're going to learn all kinds of things. By the way, everyone who's introduced themselves so far, including me, we're all specializing in HSA as well, Handicap Scuba Association. So we were specifically trained to work with people with disabilities as well as people who don't have disabilities. So, all right. And the newest member of our team is Jacob.
Hi, I'm Jacob. I'm a dive master in training.
Can you turn your camera on, Jacob?
I am unable to.
Okay.
Still broken. I'm a dive master in training. I've been diving for a little while, I think like 5 years now. I'm also a free diver. I work at the dive shop in Tallahassee, Coral Reef Scuba. And that's about all I can think of.
Okay. Great. So did I miss anyone on the leadership team? Okay, let's go ahead and start with students. This should be interesting. Let's see here. I'm just gonna call by the names that I see first, and you can correct me on the pronunciation of your name. Nasir?
You can just call me Nazi.
Nasir?
Yeah. I just wanted to try something new. That's why I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a student, or do you work, or?
Yeah, I do both. Go to TCC and I work at a bar. So yeah.
Okay.
I think that's about
All right.
it.
That's fine. That's good. All right, Kristen, what about you? What made you want to learn to scuba dive?
Well, a lot of my family scuba dives. My grandfather was a diver. My brother currently dives for North Myrtle Beach Police Department, and he does those little videos where he finds people's rings and stuff they lose in the ocean.
Nice.
So I figure I gotta catch up to his level. But we grew up on the water. I've always been in the water constantly, if not kayaking, fishing, or bodyboard, whatever. So I figure I'd try underwater now.
Very cool. How awesome that your grandfather scuba dived. That is neat. And I'm one of these people that finds stuff all the time too. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see that I recently reunited an Apple Watch that I found scuba diving at Cherokee Think. I reunited it with its human, who was happened to be a FSU rugby player. So he was super excited. He's like, how did you find me?
Yeah, he was actually just on the news. My brother's always in the news, but he was just on the news because a couple from like Indiana came down and proposed or got married, and it was his great grandfather's ring, and it fell off of his hand and went into like a crack right there on like Broadway and the beach. And so he found it, and he had to go up there for a wedding, and he like knocked on their door and surprised them with it. And so
that's neat. Really neat. Okay, Trey.
My name's Trey, and I wanted to do this course because I'm always on the water and I like to scallop and fish and everything. And my dad scuba dives.
Very nice. And how old are you?
14.
All right. I think we got a couple 14-year-olds in this class. So very good. We get a lot of young people, often 12 years old in our classes. So we're super glad that you're here. Do you know what you want to be when you grow up, Trey?
No, not
That's
yet.
That's
Still
you got
trying to
time.
figure that out.
Okay. All right. F. Simon.
Hi, good evening. My name is Simon. I worked at FSU and I heard about this from my friend Miguel, who went to the class recently. He highly recommended that I do it, that it was quite neat and relaxing. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
And you are a veteran, right?
I'm a Navy veteran.
And
They
you are
taught me
a
to-
scholarship recipient in this class, and we're glad you're here, and thank you for your service.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. Cameron.
Hi, I'm Cameron. I want to get scuba certified so I can go shoot fish when they're not biting.
Certain kind of fish you want to shoot?
Grouper, snapper, and hawkfish particularly.
Nice. Very nice. Okay. So I'm going to suggest that after you get open water certified, you go straight into advanced so that you get lots of experience under your belt, because multitasking with spearfishing is definitely something you want to make sure you're safe with. Right. Cool. I have friends with the spelling of this name who pronounce it in different ways. So I'm going to just choose one of them, and it's probably going to be the wrong one. Andrea.
Yeah, the latter. I'm from landlocked Zimbabwe, so I don't have a lot of experience on water or with the ocean in general, but I've been privileged to travel quite a bit. So whenever I travel, I'm always getting as much ocean as I can. But I've been scuba diving before, but I hadn't been certified. So I just thought that it would be a good progression to actually get certified.
Nice. And what brought you from Zimbabwe to Tallahassee?
Zimbabwe isn't doing too good at the moment. And I did my degree. I recently graduated with a degree in environmental science.
Excellent.
So I'm very into it, the environment, but in specific, I really like ecology and looking into species diversity and all that, and how different ecological communities work. But yeah, so obviously the ocean has a bunch of that. So that's sort of what took me into it. So not hunting them, but looking at them.
Well, you're going to geek out with Victor and Ximena a lot, I think, especially with your interests, and Ronny as well. I think you're going to really enjoy conversations with them with your interests. So.
Right. Yeah, I look forward to it.
Great. Hunter.
Hello, my name's Hunter. I'm Cameron's friend. Found out about this through the coral reef, and then I'm a home health travel physical therapist throughout the Southeast. I love time on the water, always been on the water growing up with it, and just trying to get out there to whenever the fish aren't biting on top, I can go down and get them.
Okay, very good, Hunter. Helda. Unmute yourself, Helda. There you are.
Buenas noches. Hola.
Yeah.
My name is Hilda. I'm just trying to get out of my comfort zone again and again and again and again. And now it's turn for scuba dive, trying to manage everything at the same time. So let's see how it goes.
Perfect. And Helda, what do you do?
I'm a business owner.
Ah, excellent. And I got to meet you in person earlier, and
Yes.
I got to meet your
Lovely puppies.
daughter, and she got to hold puppies. I have foster
Yes.
puppies, and that was great. She was like, "Oh, why am I here?" And then I'm like, "Do you like puppies?" Yeah.
Like, I want to take them home. And I'm like, no, you're not taking home. We have one at home. We don't need another one, but they're super cute.
It's really cute.
Thank you.
All right.
It was really nice of you.
Thank you. Jay Garman. Unmute yourself. I guess every time I go to you, just make sure you unmute yourself.
Yeah, my name is Jessica. I am kind of getting into scuba diving as I'm going on my honeymoon soon. and we are going to the island of Curacao. And I feel like it would be injustice if I did not get my scuba certification, go to a beautiful island. And so my fiance has been scuba diving for a while, and so I'm super excited to start this journey.
I love Curacao, and with the ABC Islands, I find Curacao is my favorite, much better than Bonaire in my personal opinion, just from diving in both. So I think you're really
that's
gonna love it.
exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm
it's
definitely
cool.
excited.
All right, Cody.
Hey, so yeah, sorry, I'm in the car right now. Anyway, I really wanted to get into scuba diving because I love free diving, and I just really wanted to be able to stay down longer and look at the cool stuff. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Cody, what do you do?
Oh, I own a cleaning business.
Okay, great. And you're gonna really mesh with Jacob. I think Jacob is a free diver. And so I think you two have a lot in common. You'll enjoy talking to each other about the free diving thing too.
Oh, nice, cool deal.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Trent.
Hey, I'm Trent. I'm just looking to get into scuba diving because I've always been in and around the water. So that's just kind of the next step, to be able to stay under there and look at everything, so the fish and whatnot.
Great. And what do you do, Trent?
I'm a realtor here in Tallahassee.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Sia.
Hi. I can't turn my camera on, so
Yeah.
that's why. I'm Sia. I think I want to go into I'm still in high school, so I want to go into marine biology or something. So, I just love swimming and, might as well do scuba diving. I'm 14, by the way. So
Awesome. Victor's cheering. He's super excited to see you wanting to go into this field. So great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am a marine biologist. That's why.
Okay.
Victor is a cool marine biologist. Actually, we have some recordings that I'll share of Victor and Ronny both giving lectures. So really, really great.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad you're here. Micah and Melissa.
Hi, so can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So we're on a desktop computer, so we don't have a camera. But we'll meet later. So my name is Melissa Gonzalez Lopez, and I'm an artist, and currently I'm working at the library. I'm like the person who's in charge of exhibits. But I love to do art on the side, and scuba diving is like a dream that I had when I was a kid, because it seemed like so unreachable. So now finally decided to take a class now for like my birthday. So I'm super excited about it, and I also love to take pictures and videos on the water. So I just wanted to expand on that. That's part of the photography that I do. But yeah, and here I'm just gonna put Micah on the spot.
Hi, my name is Micah Scott. Grew up in Tallahassee. Graduated FSU. I work IT, and I like to fish. Basically doing this because she's doing it. I figured I'd give it a try. Yeah.
I heard her say, and scalloping.
Yeah, we love to scallop. So, I mean, I can't see why I wouldn't love this.
Yeah, for sure. And Melissa, I really love photography and videography as well. I owned a video production company for 10 years, and I really, really love doing underwater stuff. It's fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, cool. All right. And I think last but not least, unless I've missed anyone, Ashley. Ashley, unmute yourself. Ashley. Okay, well, Ashley may have stepped aside, so I'll just move on and let's be hear from Ashley soon. So, welcome everybody. I know it may be, okay, she's here. Can you unmute yourself? 1 second, she said in the chat box. Trying, okay. While she's working on trying, just hop in whenever you're there, Ashley, it's fine. Let me just explain. I know there's always confusion about how this works. how this works is we are going to schedule our sessions right now. We're going to schedule our sessions. So hopefully everyone has their calendars. We do have at least 2 students who have been deployed because of the storm. And hopefully this will mesh with their schedules. If not, we'll get them into a different class. We have classes going all the time. And the most important things are to try to find pool session dates and pool session dates and lectures where everyone has common dates. The checkout dives we can do anytime. And so, you know, if you wanted to get certified sooner, we'd go diving right after you finish the pool sessions and get you done. So Ashley, did you manage to find out how to connect? All right, well, I'll just move on then. So what I would suggest is everyone go ahead and get your calendars out now, and let's get that. Oh, she's entering using a different device. Okay, so we'll wait for her to join and introduce herself. But get your calendars out now so that we can get ready to plan everything. All right, Ashley, we see you twice now. Go ahead, and we saw you on camera for just a moment there, and then you disappeared.
Hey, sorry, I had to allow access on my phone. I'm Ashley. I am a critical care vet tech in Tallahassee, and I'm interested in scuba diving because I'm trying to go to vet school next year, and I am interested in marine mammal conservation. So I'd like to get underwater and see them.
That's awesome. You're going to connect with all of us with those passions, and yeah, and I have a sick doggy here right now, so I might get distracted, just so you know. So
me too, so I understand.
Oh, it's so hard. It's really hard. All right, so go ahead and get your calendars out, please. And what we want to do is, first thing I want to ask, is there anyone who needs to be certified by a certain date? Now, I know some of you have said December. Okay, so Cameron, when do you need to be certified by?
By the November 4th.
November 4th. Okay. All right. So we're going to keep that in mind. November 4th should not be a problem. So anyone need to be certified sooner than November 4th? All right, good. So let's get our calendars out. And here's what typically happens. We have 4 lectures, 4. Tonight is 1. Our last lecture is actually going to be exam review. As long as we keep this online, then you are going to get an exam emailed to you and have open book. If you'd rather start meeting in person, then you would take the exam there. It wouldn't be open book. It would be closed book. So you tell me what your preference is. Would you rather meet online or in person or hybrid? But if hybrid, we'd all need to spend a few extra hours together to take the exam live. Online, okay, online, getting votes in, online. Another online, okay. Looks like we're gonna stick with online. All right, we're gonna stick with online then. I'm good with that too. It's really good for people with busy schedules, and the fact that we're in different places, it just makes it easier for us. And I know, listen, I know it's harder. I know, we all know it. We see people not quite paying as much attention. Helda, you have a question or just voting for online? Okay. All right, good. Got it. We're going to stick with online then. So here's what we need to do. We need 4 lecture dates. So you don't have to have the book for the next lecture. I would encourage you to have the book read by the 3rd lecture. So why don't we start with backing up? Let's go ahead and find the next available date that everyone has, possibly next week, to have another lecture class. So tell me, is there a certain day of the week? I'll tell you what, I'm just going to throw some, okay, you can type it in the chat box. That's fine. Mondays are good. All right. Anytime. All right. Can anyone do the 3rd? October 3rd, Monday, October 3rd, since I'm seeing votes for.
Do I have to be able to, can I do it while I'm driving?
Yes. I mean, you won't
Okay,
be able to see the slides, obviously.
Okay, but I don't have to necessarily like write anything down.
No, you don't have to write anything down for the second lecture. I would say the third lecture would be really good for you to be, plugged in. But the second lecture, what you can do is you can join and listen, and then you can go back and watch the slides if that's okay with you.
That's perfect. Monday will work.
All right, everyone good with Monday? Monday, October 3rd. All right, I'm seeing nothing but yeses.
Sorry for interrupting, but I would not be available next week since I feel like since everybody would be able to do it, I could watch a recording if possible, to not set everybody behind.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds like a good idea. So I'll, what I'll do is every night after the lecture, I'll send a follow-up email by the next day with a link to the recording, okay? So we've got October 3rd. Now let's look at the following week. And if Mondays are still good, how is Monday, October 10th for everybody?
I work a night shift on Mondays where I'm out at 9.
I also work a night shift where I go in at 6.
Okay, so wait, so you two that just spoke, so Monday, okay, and it's a holiday. So does that apply also for the 3rd?
Not for me, because I'll be on vacation and I'll be driving back on next Monday, but the following Monday I'll be at work.
What about the other person who said that they were working? Are you going to be able to do the 3rd?
No, I would not. I'm not going to be available at all next week after 6 p.m. And I work Monday nights until 9.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, we're going to find a different day for that week. Tell me how it looks to meet on the 12th or 13th or 14th, 12th, 13th or 14th.
Either one is good. I mean, the 12th works.
Okay, 12th. All right, some say 13th and 14th. Andrea, can you make the 12th work? And Jessica, can you make the 12th work?
I'd have to do the 14th. I work nights Wednesday and Thursday as well until 9.
All right, let me just ask. The 3rd lecture is really important for as many people as possible to be there. So let's shoot for the, okay, so the 14th is not going to work. All right, let's look at the following week. So the people who work on Monday nights, is it every Monday?
Yes.
Every Monday.
Yes.
How
Except
about
the next one?
How about Wednesday, the 19th? Oh, what about the 11th? Okay, so Kristen suggested the 11th. Let's back up to the 11th. Will the 11th work for anyone? Okay, so far so good. 11th. Okay, thank you for suggesting it. Just not the 11th for Helda. Okay.
Tuesday's great for me.
Yeah, I can't do the 11th, unfortunately. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are usually bad.
Okay. All right. So we have a bunch of people who can't make that. So let's try for.
If Wednesday or Thursday works for everybody else, I can watch a recording. I'm used to online classes.
I know, it's just this particular, the 3rd lecture is really good if everyone could be there. But if we only have one person who can't be there, I agree that maybe that's a good option. So I forgot what date we were talking about where most people were available. Can you all help me? What day were we talking about?
Wasn't it the 13th?
Were we talking about the 13th or the 11th?
I don't remember. Sorry.
I don't remember either. The 12th? We were talking about the 12th? Okay. So the second lecture is on October 3rd, Monday, October 3rd. And so now we're looking at the 3rd lecture. So do we want to stick with the 11th or 12th?
Is it always going to be 7:30?
We can make it a different time if people are available. Do you want to make it a little earlier or?
I could probably make a Wednesday or Thursday at 8 p.m.
Okay. Yeah, that just keeps us, so we have a couple 14-year-olds and stuff, and so it just makes it a late night. It's already late, so. That's the only thing. I think it'd be okay for you to join a little late because you could catch up on the first 30 minutes if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right. So what date were we just talking about, please? Because I'm seeing a lot of things in the chat box at 12th or 13th. 11th, 12th, or 13th. Which one is better for everyone? 11th, 12th, or 13th? 13th?
Gabrielle, I would suggest this, which is, I think is going to be easier. You say the date, and then everyone have at the bottom, you have a reaction icon. With the reaction, you can put a thumbs up, which is like you can do it. And if you can't, just don't press anything. So we will just count the ones that can for the 3 days, and the one with more thumbs up.
All right, I've kind of got a vibe here that like Jessica can't make the 12th, and all right, so we'll just try. We'll try this. Okay, so thumbs up if you could make the 11th work. The 11th. Go ahead and click those if you can do it. If you can make it work. If you can make it work. Oh, don't put your thumb back up. I think Hunter or Trey, one of you had your thumb up and it went away. So this is the problem. By the time everyone gets their thumbs up, it's too late, right? This isn't working very well.
At least we try.
It's not working very well. Okay, so I'll tell you what. Right now, I'm just gonna say, who cannot make the 11th? Just speak up. Who can't make the 11th?
I probably can't. Sorry.
Okay, Andrea cannot make the 11th. Anyone else? Okay, who cannot make the 12th? Who absolutely cannot make the 12th? Can everyone make the 12th?
11th is better than 12th for me. So
Okay.
if we have to make it the 11th, I can try to do that.
Let me just try one more thing here. Who cannot make the 13th?
I cannot make the 13th.
Can't make the 13th.
All right, so we got to
I
do
cannot.
it. We're going to stick with the 11th then. We'll stick with the 11th.
Thank you.
Okay. Phew, that was hard. All right, so we have one more to schedule. One more to schedule. The week of we could skip a week if you want, or we could do the week of
Just keep going.
Let's just finish it up.
Okay, I'm good with that. All right, so let's look at the week of the 17th.
Yes.
Okay, so the 17th, 19th, or 20th?
17, please.
All right, who cannot make the 17th?
I cannot.
All right, you can never make Mondays, right?
No.
Okay.
And me neither.
All right, nobody can make this. A lot of people can't make the 17th. Okay, so I have a meeting on the 18th. Let's look at the 19th. Who cannot make the 19th?
I can't.
Oh, they
I
cannot.
cannot.
All right.
I can come late.
Okay, now we got too many people who can't make it. Let's look at the 20th.
I'm out there. I can't Wednesday, Thursdays, or Friday. I can.
All right, so we're gonna jump to the next week then. Who can? Okay, so I think one of you absolutely can never make the Monday, right? So I'm just gonna skip that one and let's see about who can make the 25th. The 25th.
I can.
Who cannot make the 25th? Can everyone make the 25th? Everyone can make the 25th? All right, we have the 25th. That was hard. Okay, so we have our.
Sorry, out of curiosity, if we want to finish it earlier, do you have any other alternative classes for like in any of your other groups that we can take so we don't have to drag it out over a month?
Well, we've got to schedule pool sessions and checkout dives too.
Okay.
So you're not going on a trip or anything, right?
No, I'm not. I
Yeah.
work a lot, and I'm trying to like I did design my schedule around all this, and I'm hoping nothing's going to change or anything. But yeah.
Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to schedule is pool sessions. Now, let me just give you a couple of options. Micah, Melissa, did you have your hand up?
Yes, it's because on late October I'm gonna be traveling out of the country, but we haven't signed on the tickets yet. It's that last session, the exam,
Yes.
or
It's the exam review. Yes.
the exam review? Okay. I'll try to get back to you on that as soon as possible.
Okay, that sounds
But
good.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Sia, you have a question?
Yeah, is the last one on the 23rd or the 25th?
It is
25th.
the 25th.
25th, Tuesday.
25th, Tuesday, the 25th.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we have October 3rd, October 11th. Can someone type this in the chat box? 3rd, 11th, and 25th. And everything is online to this point. Now, Kristen, you have to travel. You're about 5 hours away. Where are you located, Kristen? Thanks, Sia. Kristen, where are you located?
I'm in Fort Stewart right now.
Okay, right. No worries. So then let me share the options of pool sessions, and I think I know which one you're going to go with. We do have a bunch of people who live out of town. So how many of you already feel pretty comfortable in the water? Does anyone not feel comfortable in the water? Good, good. Okay. So when we have groups that feel comfortable in the water, we offer this option of doing one very long full day. This enables people coming from out of town to knock it out in one go. It also enables people who want to finish sooner to go ahead and start diving immediately after they're done with their pool session. The other option is we do 2 long pool sessions, or so the options are 2 long pool sessions or 1 really long pool session. So what are your preferences?
One.
Yeah, probably just the one for me.
Yeah, I think 1 is good.
All right. So I'm going to ask you to be rested and ready, and we're going to have a long full day together. And listen, I will be a drill sergeant. I know some of you are military people. I will be a drill sergeant. The only way we can get through all the skills is for you to make sure that you're rested, you're ready, and ideally you get in the water and practice that swim test before we meet. That way, when we meet, there's no surprises. You know that you can do the swim test, okay? To me, the swim test is the hardest part. It's not that hard, but it is the hardest part for people who don't spend a lot of time in the water. So get in the water and practice. Okay. Now, that being said, how's everyone scheduled to have a pool session? Let me throw some dates out there, and I want you to tell me what you think. All right, let's see here. So I think hurricane weekend is out of the question. We're not going to do anything this weekend. Let's see. I'm gonna.
Can they be done on Sundays?
Yeah, we can do on Sundays. Okay. So we had held in the if Jacob is okay. Jacob, can we celebrate your birthday dive on a day different than the 16th if everyone's available then? And Kristen, no, you don't have to finish the course.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay, if people are available, I'm just going to put it out there as an option then. October 16th.
Out of town.
Nope. Okay, people are busy on the 16th, right?
I'm out of town that weekend.
Okay, all right. So, you're completely out of town the entire weekend.
Yes, like out of the state completely.
Okay, well then, this brings us to the 29th or 30th.
I'm open.
Can everyone do the 29th
The
or 30th?
30?
2 people said they can't do Sunday, so the 29th. Can everyone do the 29th?
I finished to work at 11.
I don't think
I
can
cannot do the 29th.
All right, Kristen. Okay, we have people who can't do it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split the class into two. There's no way that we can accommodate getting people certified. So we're going to split the class into two. What I want you to do is type in the chat box if you are able to make October 16th. Type in the chat box if you can make October 16th.
If you can or you can't.
If you can, if you are able to make the 16th. All right, and I'm going to have, can somebody read the names to me? I'm on a different screen and I'm going to type who can make it. Somebody read. I've got Kristen, Cody, Trent. Who else?
So Kristen, Cameron, Sia, Cody, Trent.
Is that it? Okay,
Wait a
Simon.
sec. Sia said she can't make the
Oh,
16th.
she can't make it. Okay.
Yeah.
We only have 5 people who can make it.
Yeah, so Simon.
This isn't going to work very well. All right, the person who's going.
How about the 15th?
So the 8th, someone wrote the 8th. I am cycling in the Spaghetti 100 that day. Now, that being said, I have a team. I have a team of people. I could somehow find a way to get all the gear to people and have them begin, and then I could come after. But that would be really pushing it because I'm going to be riding 68 miles that morning on the north side of town.
Maybe the 9th.
Okay, so Helda can't do Saturdays and someone else can't do Sundays. So this is why we have to split. Okay.
What time?
Well, if it's an all-day thing, it's going to be like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay.
All right. So it looks like the 8th and 9th is really not going to work well for people. So we're going to go with the 16th, but I only have 5 people who can make it. I only have 5 people who can make it. Unless I'm missing something, this isn't going to work out really well. Kristen, Cody, Trent, Cameron, and Simon. Nobody else can make it on the 16th. Okay, we're going to, okay, Mike and Melissa, maybe. Okay. So that would be Micah and Melissa and Ashley. Good. Okay, thank you. Then that makes it worth it.
Yeah, Mike and Melissa also can.
Ashley. Yeah. All right. So I am Kristen to answer your question. Okay, let me just confirm. Did I miss anyone? I have Michael, Melissa, Ashley, Simon, Cameron, Trent, Cody, and Kristen.
I think Jessica said she can as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, Ashley and I both will be going together, so we both can make it on the 16th.
All right, that's awesome. That makes a good class. Okay, Trey as well. Perfect. All right, so then who do we have left that we don't have a date for? Raise your hand. Or speak up. Okay, we have Andrea, Hunter, Sia. And that's it? Nasir, how about you? Yes? Okay.
I can't do Saturday or Sunday.
You can never do Saturday or Sunday?
No, those are the days I work at night.
What time do you work at night?
To go in Saturday, I have to go in at like 4 and then the same time for that other day. But Monday through Wednesday, I'm totally free. But the other days I'm like busy.
Well, we could maybe start it earlier to get you to work or something, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that'll be okay.
Yeah, let's try that.
Like how early and when does it end?
Well, if you need to be at work, we'll make sure that you're done by the time you need to go to work.
Okay.
Okay. So you're going to have to be really, really good and ready in the water. Okay.
Okay.
did you say you could make the 16th? No, we'll pick another day. We'll pick another day for you. Okay, so on the 23rd, I can't make it because I am, in case you haven't figured it out, I'm an avid cyclist. So I cycle a lot. By the way, did the 16th capture the person who needs to be certified by November something? Yes? Okay, perfect. Good. All right. So let's find one more date here. So for the people remaining, can you do October 30th or 29th or 30th?
I can do 30.
Okay, that's Sia. What about Helda? Can you do the 30th?
I can do the 29th.
All right. Can either of you do the 30? Can you make the 30th work?
Yes, I can make the 30 work.
Okay. So can everybody who's left make the 30th work?
I can't, unfortunately. I
Okay.
finished at like 12-ish.
Okay. So with the 30th will not work. All right, let's find another date.
I do the November 5th, the weekend November
You said you can do or cannot do?
5th, I can. The 6th, I can.
Okay, so.
I can do the 6th too.
All right, the 6th, can everyone do the 6th?
As in October 6th?
I can do
November 6th.
November 6th.
Can November 6th work?
I'm the one who Sundays don't work for.
These are for the remaining people. Okay, Andrea, the Sundays never work, right? Okay, so that's the Miami game. The 5th, can you do the 5th instead?
I cannot do the 5th.
Okay.
I cannot do Saturdays because Saturdays I finish to work at 11 if I don't have deliveries to do, like clients to meet.
Yeah.
So for me, Saturdays is a no. I can't do Sundays.
So for the remaining, so we have Andrea and Helda are among just 4 people left, right? Just 4 people who need a date. And one of you can do Saturday and one of you can do Sunday, but neither of you can do both, right?
I cannot do Saturdays. It's just the problem is I already have all the Saturdays scheduled until January.
All right.
I cannot reschedule because it's compromises that I already have with clients that are already paid. So
you can't do Saturdays.
I cannot.
So can you do the 16th, a Sunday?
No, because I'm going to be out of town, like literally out of the state already.
All right. The person who can't do, oh, this is really complicated.
I'm not trying to be complicated. It's just I already have everything.
I'm just, we have only 4 people left. And one of you can't do Saturdays and one of you can't do Sundays.
The only days I can't do are Wednesday and Sunday. So other than that, I'm pretty much game.
Right. So you can't do Sundays and Helda can't do Saturdays. Can you do weekdays at all?
I have a kid that is in school. And I'm this only provider, so I cannot just pull her out.
You can only do Wednesdays and Saturdays. Is that right, Helda?
I only can do Sundays.
Sunday, sorry. I'm getting confused.
It's okay.
Okay, so you can do Sundays, only Sundays.
Yes, unless I pull my kid out of school, that is not
We
what
don't
I'm
want you to
looking
pull your
for.
kid out of school. Okay. Victor, any ideas? Ronnie, any ideas here? I'm thinking we do a private pool session. I'm thinking a private pool session. You know, and it might be, I need to do 2 different sessions with different people. Do either of you have pools of the people who are left? Swimming pools?
I
No?
don't.
Okay. All right, so I'll tell you what, I'm going to follow up with you after and we will find another date. Okay. The pool needs to be 8 feet deep approximately. Actually, technically the standards say 6 feet. We really prefer 8 feet, but we can get by with 6 feet if needed. All right. The next thing we're going to schedule is checkout dives. For the remaining people, if you'll just do me a favor and follow up. and text me, just message me like what your availability is, and we'll work it out. I promise you we'll work it out if it needs to be that we have, 3-hour sessions on certain days or whatever. We'll work it out so that we can do that. Okay. Victor, your students are good, right?
Yeah, they can make it the 16.
Okay. All right. So let's plan checkout dives. Let's plan checkout dives. So for the people who have a pool session on October 16th, we can start diving right away. And so let me ask those of you on the 16th, can you go diving on the 29th or 30th?
I'll most likely be out of the country then.
We don't worry. We typically schedule like four dives, 4 days of diving, and you only need to be present for 2. So I'm gonna throw the 30th out there. Tell me who can, just verbally tell me who can make the 30th, and I'm gonna take your names down. These are only people who can make the 16th pool session. This would include the person who needs to be somewhere in November, because I'm gonna actually work with you and find another day that would be possibly a weekday or something. We'll find another day too. All right, so who can make the 30th? Go ahead and say your name.
Ashley.
Ashley.
Trey.
Jessica.
Trey, Jessica.
Simon.
Cameron.
Simon, Cameron.
Trent.
Trent. Anyone else? Okay.
So will we be certified after that? Because that will be the last
Yes.
day I have before I leave.
Yes. So
What time and how long will it take? Because I was actually mistaken.
So I'm gonna back it up a little bit and see who's remind me, was it Cameron or Trent who needed, or Trey? I can't remember who needs to be certified for November.
Cameron.
Cameron, are you also available on the 29th or any day during the week?
I have all my weekends are open. I can do any weekend day.
Okay, so why don't we plan on, it's a big football game weekend on the 29th as well, the 29th and 30th. And then you'll be official on the 30th.
That works.
Okay. All
I
right.
likewise have to be SCUBA certified by November 9th.
All right. So can you do the Saturday and Sunday also? Jessica?
Yes.
Perfect.
The 29th and 30th.
Yep, the 29th and 30th. So here's what I'm thinking, if it's okay with you. Who else can make the 29th? Give me your names.
Trent.
Jessica, Cameron, Trent.
Simon.
Trey.
Trey.
I'm currently committed to something the 29th and 30th, but there's a chance that it can change.
Okay, just let me know if so. So here's what
I
I'm
can make
thinking.
it.
I'm sorry?
I said I can make it the 29th.
All right, who's talking? Because I'm not looking at the camera right now. I'm looking at my calendar.
I was there.
Okay, thank you. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. We will, on that Saturday, we'll do springs. So we'll do possibly Morrison or Big Blue or something. We'll do a spring. And then on Sunday, we can do ocean dives. So we'll do Panama City. And ocean dives, we have a choice. We can do boat dives, and I'll tell you the benefits and drawbacks of that. So the benefits are, it's easy diving, it's pretty predictable, it's really nice, you get the boat experience. I love diving on a boat. It's most like what you're going to do in the real world when you're going diving. Most of you are going to want to go on boat diving. Obviously, there's a charge for that. It's $92 for the charter boat in addition to it. That's the only downside. And so Hunter, you're asking about a private pool day before the 16th. Yes, I think if we can maybe figure out with you and Helda, if we can find, you know, and maybe even some of the others that can't make the 16th, I think that would be really great if we could find a date that would work. That would be great. And I'm sure that I can find a private pool. So what I would suggest is maybe when I have a chance to to figure things out, I'll go back and do that. Now, back for those of you who can make that Saturday and Sunday for diving. How do you feel about boat diving? The other option is shore diving. So shore diving would be the jetties most likely in Panama City. The benefits are it's cheap. You know, you just need a state park pass. The drawbacks are that it's unpredictable. It's based on tides. So you need to go when the tides are good. So I'd have to check the tides. And if the tides were, high tide was at 3 a.m., it's not going to work for us. It can be hard, a lot harder because you're trekking through a lot of sand and carrying gear long distances. So those are the drawbacks. The benefit is that it's cheap. What are your preferences?
I am good with either option. Sounds great. Sounds like the boat dive though. Sounds a little nicer.
It's definitely nicer, especially if it's your first dive. You're gonna be like, this is exhausting if we do shore. Now, listen, for anyone who wants to do shore, we can do a different day. We can pick a different day to do shore diving. But it's definitely harder and less predictable, and we need to base it on the tides. So we'll plan on boat diving. And then for anyone who doesn't want to pay the money and go boat diving, you'll do a different dive completely. All right, we have 2 sets of dives so far. We have 2 dive days so far. Let's go ahead and find some more. So let's see here, November.
Can I add myself last minute?
Yes, who's speaking right now? I just
Ashley.
Ashley, what day?
I don't know if I don't know if I can come for sure for the Saturday and Sunday, but
sure.
Can I add myself last minute? Is that a possibility?
Not a problem at all. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Not a problem. Yeah. And in fact, I'm diving all the time, so I'm pretty darn flexible for the most part. Okay, let's go ahead and find another couple days here. So let's see. I have in my calendar November 6th for a pool session, but we never did determine that that was a good day. So that's a possible day for checkout dives, or we could do the 12th or 13th of November for the remaining people who haven't already had their 2 sets of dives. 12th or 13th.
Both work for Mike and Melissa.
All right.
I am in Jessica's wedding that weekend.
Yeah. So the question is it for people who are going on the 16th? And the answer is yes, but my plan is to find a day for those of you who haven't, and I can't remember, I know it was Sia and Helda, I can't remember who can't make the 16th, and Andrea. I know there were 4 people who couldn't make the 16th. We will find a day, like I'll do a doodle poll or something to find a day that's going to work for everybody. So Kristen, you said that's Veterans Day weekend. It is Veterans Day weekend. Yeah. So if you've already made the other 2 dates, you're still welcome to come diving with us on these other dates, but you don't have to. So, all right. So let me just tell you some possibilities. We have November 6th, which I think we decided can't be a pool session. November 6th. How many people can make November 6th that can't make the other dive dates?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So if we do November 6th, we would not be doing the 5th, right?
The 5th?
Yeah, because I was for the previous one you did Saturday and Sunday. So for the November 6th, it would only be the Sunday.
It would only be one day.
I'm talking.
Ordinarily, I don't like to do
I'll
back
have
to
to get back with Victor on my final dives. I'll make one of them. I'll get it scheduled.
No worries. Ordinarily, I would.
So I'll have to work out my dates. I will work out my dates with Victor tomorrow.
No problem. No problem. All right.
But I'll make it work.
I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do. We have time for everyone else. If you can just tell me if November 5th or 6th is better for everyone else, I'm just going to put one of those dates in my calendar, and then we're going to move on and we'll find the other dates on a different day. Okay. So November 5th or 6th, for those of you remaining who still need dives, which one is better? November 5th or 6th? For those of you who still need dives, and if okay, dives. All right. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do at this point then. We're just going to, we won't worry about scheduling it. We still have a lot more, like for the next lecture, we can come back together and figure it out. Got it? Okay. So I'm not going to spend any
question.
Yes, go ahead.
Was there not a possibility to do it the weekend after the 16th, so the 22nd and the 23rd? Was anyone, are you not able to do that, or nobody's
I'm not able
do
to do that. I'm doing a ride for multiple sclerosis and
Okay.
yeah, and it's on the other coast of Florida.
Gotcha.
All right. Okay. My apologies. That doesn't normally take that long. It's interesting how different groups are, right? Everybody, let's get back to it, and I'll tell you what, we'll figure it out. Yes. tinyurl.com/scuba sizing. Please put your size in there for me so that, and I'll put it in the email as well, so that we know what your size is, and I can make sure that I have the appropriate size BCD for you, which we'll tell you what that is later. But anything that you need sizing for. So why Scuba Educators International? Why do all of us teach for SEI, and why do we like it so much? Well, it is a bit longer course. It averages 32 hours, including class and pool. We really focus on education first, then marketing. We're not great at marketing, and we're okay with that. We focus on how and why people learn. We focus on diving comfort in the real world, and we have a concern for how people learn. We want you to be divers forever. It's a chance to expand your life and see the other half of the world. So let me just ask you, oh, by the way, with the standards, with regard to the standards, I'm an instructor with 4 different agencies, and I love Scuba Educators International. They have the best standards. It's an awesome organization. So who can tell me what SCUBA means?
Self-contained underwater breathing apparatus.
Very good, Simon. Excellent. And who do we have to thank for this? Anyone know? Anyone? All right, it's Jacques Cousteau. So the world beneath the sea is amazing, and you're going to feel suspended and weightless. You are going to enjoy animal life, including coral. It's awesome. We are going to cover a lot of things in this class. In fact, we have 8 lectures we're cramming into 4, and we're going to have pool training and open water dives as well. We have a great community of divers here, and if you're not already on Scuba Friends, join Scuba Friends on Facebook, not Scuba Friends of Tallahassee. That guy copied me. Scuba Friends. And if you're going to Curacao, for example, you post, hey, I'm going to Curacao. Anyone have some suggestions on great dive operators or whatever? It's a great way to stay in touch. You'll also notice how much diving we're doing. You'll get to see cool pictures and videos and really plug into a community. Now, here's something that's super special with regard to how I operate is when you're done with your scuba certification and you are certified with us, you can come back diving anytime for free. It's not going to cost you anything. The only fees would be if there's an admission or there's some kind of entrance fee. Just we ask you to chip in on cylinder fills. So it's going to cost you $5, for example, if you come diving, at a local spring that doesn't have an entry fee. So it's a really good deal. Your certification card is worldwide recognized. I've been to 88 countries and dived in most of them, and everybody knows who SEI is. When you're done, you're going to get a certification card. The requirements are you're going to have 2 days of diving that are going to be a grand total of 5 dives. You're going to have 4 scuba dives and 1 skin dive, and you will be certified as an open water diver. That will get you to 60 feet of depth. All certifying agencies are the same. Open water is 60 feet of depth. And when you get advanced certified, you're certified to 100 feet. We are 60 feet. So this is the natural training progression and where most people go. On one side, you see the leader level, and on the other side, you see the diver level. We really focus a lot on leadership here. And so you're going to see that people move pretty much from open water into things like advanced nitrox is the next thing I suggest. And then rescue, and there's a lot of possibilities. And on the leadership side, you can see we have dive masters in training here. We have instructors. I'm a course director. And then advanced diver level 2 is part of the specialty advanced nitrox. I highly recommend you to get together. So the course materials, some of you have already gotten them. Some of you have not, that's okay. So you're going to have a textbook, you're going to have workbooks. One of the workbooks is classroom notes you can follow along with if you so choose. And then there's a logbook and dive tables. The logbook and dive tables we ask you to bring to all of your dives. Bring the logbook and dive tables to all of your dives. You're going to need those. Now, if you haven't already submitted the medical, you need to do so. You're going to need to write a complete YES or NO, no slashes. You only need to involve your doctor if you answered yes to anything. All right, so let's see, who do I have going next after me? I think I'm ready to hand it over. Who do I have going next? I'll continue while I'm waiting, while I figure it out. So the beginnings of scuba diving, free diving, and I know we have some free divers in the group, go back to 3000 BC. Air compressors were invented and there were helmet divers way back in the 1800s. Jacques Cousteau in 1943 invented demand scuba. And then the first YMCA instructor course was in 1959. Now in 2008, when the economy kind of tanked, a lot of people made, I think, bad decisions. And one of them was YMCA was like, we'll get rid of scuba, even though it's profitable. And several instructor trainers got together and said, no, let's make SEI. And that's how it came about. So Scuba Educators International has been SEI since 2008, but it was YMCA, keeping the same standards and such. So are there any risks in this?
If you want to, I can take it from here, Gabrielle.
Okay, were you next? It was Walt, okay.
It was Walt, but I can take it from here because then I'm after that.
Perfect. Let me go ahead and let you do that. So you want me to finish this slide while you're pulling it up, or do you have it ready?
I have it ready.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it because I'd really like to check on my dog.
Yeah.
So, okay. Thank you.
Give me just 1 second to share here.
And instructors, I'm just going to ask you to, to not spend too much time so that we need to make up for, the amount of time that the scheduling took. So we want to make sure that we get people out at a decent hour. Okay.
Yep, sure. So as Gabrielle was mentioning, are there risks? Of course there are, because we're dealing with pressure, and we are going to talk along the lectures about the compression illness and body air spaces, because those are the two main factors that increase your risk. And therefore, that's why you take a scuba diving training course, because you need to be trained on how to avoid this risk. And of course, it's very important to keep yourself refreshed by diving. If you skip diving, you can take a refresher course. We really encourage people to keep diving to keep all fresh. And of course, there are always some contraindicators like seizures, pregnancy, and lungs, and that's why we ask for the medical form. Okay, so only involve your doctor if you answer yes to any of the questions. The goal of scuba diving training is to minimize the risk and, of course, maximize the enjoyment. So how we eliminate the biggest risk? And this is the #1 rule in diving: always exhale during ascent when on scuba diving. Never hold your breath. Okay, so when we're going to repeat this many times throughout the course, and also other really important rules of scuba diving. We all, as instructors have DAN insurance. DAN stands for Dive Alert Network. It's an international organization. Insurance will cover you throughout the training if anything happens. Okay, so your instructor is providing your DAN accident insurance during this course, and you're gonna get an email. Through an email, you're gonna get a notification that you got into the DAN's insurance. Okay, we're gonna talk now about the most basic part of diving. We really need to go diving or skim diving equipment. And what's that? That's your mask, snorkels, and fins and boots. That's what every diver needs. Now, how do you choose a mask? And now let me try to stop my background, because I want to show you a couple of things here real quick. Okay, so when you go to a dive shop, you will find different brands, different models of and materials of the mask. So how do you really choose? It's not only about how the mask looks like. The most important thing when choosing a mask, I don't know why it's not moving forward. Give me a second. There it is how it fits in your face. Okay, so we have low volume mask, medium volume mask, large volume mask, and that's you know, some will have only one piece of glass, and we'll have two, so we'll have different. The back part can be in different shapes and materials as well. But the most important thing is that when you get your mask, you have to place it with you remove the strap, the back strap, you place the mask on your face, and you will just make a small suction, and it must stay on your face. If it drops, it's because it's leaking, and if it's leaking air, it's very likely that when you're in the water, it's gonna leak water instead. Okay, so basically you just put the mask on your face like this, you push, and it stays. If you blow a little bit of air through your nose, you get that off your face. So that's pretty simple. For ladies with long hair, I really recommend, not all the masks will have this type of neoprene material, but it's very good because it avoids your hair to get entangled, or you know, just anyone with long hair. But that's a good part when picking a mask. And after that, if you find a good model, then you can choose, you know, a different color. We also recommend crystal clear glass. This one I have because I dive a lot and outside during my research, and I just try to keep the light off my eyes. So I use this type, but for my classes, usually I use crystal clear mask. And here explains a little bit of how you must try the mask. Most of the dive shops will have, if you ask the staff, they will show you different brands and help you out to try out your mask. Please don't go to Walmart. Go to a dive shop to buy your mask. This is something you really need to invest some money on, okay? Make sure the silicone is soft, because it's more comfortable in your face, especially when you're diving, doing 2 or 3 dives a day. That really helps to, you know, dump, you know, creating bruises in your face and all that. Now, some people have, you know, wear contact lenses, or like me, you know, just prescription glasses. You can request in some stores glasses, especially for your mask. Of course, you need to request that in advance. I think Coral Reef have that. If not, if you wear contacts, you can actually, most of the people who wear contacts and have been diving for a long time, they feel comfortable wearing their contacts and their mask. I actually don't use any contacts or any glass or any correction on my mask, and I really enjoy, because as we're going to see later, underwater, everything looks closer and bigger. So it's good for me to dive like that. But if you need, this is something you can consider. Now, snorkels, they come in different shapes and different brands as well. One thing that we recommend, like this red one here with the ball that blocks the airflow, we don't recommend that much. Just make sure you use, where's my snorkel? It was somewhere here. Here it is. Most of the time it can have like a porch valve that avoids the water to go in. You can remove that. It is like broken is a smaller, but actually helps to flow the air, but avoids the water to go in. It has a porch valve on the bottom, which helps when you want to clear your snorkel and you blow, the water will be released through this valve and doesn't allow the water to go in. And of course, the mouthpiece have to be with soft silicone, easy to handle in your mouth. And there are different ways that the snorkels can be attached to your mask. Try to find one that is easy to put and release, because especially when you're setting up your gear, that can be time consuming. And finally, choosing your fins. Also, again, different brands, different models. Now there is like a trend to have these split fins, like the one in the center here. We also don't recommend that, especially if we're diving, like for example, in Panama City, where sometimes the current can be a little bit strong. Kicking with these fins can demand more of your energy. So try to get some things that are, you know, solid. Also, you will see some fins that have the incorporated shoe in it. Also, we don't recommend those for scuba diving. For skin diving, these are really good ones. But for scuba diving, we recommend the open heel one. You can have a strap that can be, you know, adjusted. Or now you can actually buy those with spring straps. So you put your feet in and the strap is easily adjusted to your feet. And then we have the boots, as Gabrielle sent in the email and I sent through the information. Please get winter boots, not summer boots. These are 5 mils and usually they will have the size here. Try to get half or one size bigger that you usually use on shoes. They have to be comfortable and fit well, and make sure that they fit inside of your fin. Okay, so that's something you need to try on as well when you are on the shop buying your skin diving gear. I think that was my last one. And
hi, can you guys see my screen? Okay, yeah. All right, so we're gonna I'm gonna talk about introduction to diving sciences. Normally, we kind of go through these because you'll pick up a lot more on this stuff, like once you're actually diving and once you have the equipment. Normally we might ask like some questions, but because of the time, I'm gonna kind of skip through those a little bit. So we're gonna talk about the laws and rules that are part of diving science. Yeah. So one of the most important things initially, and you'll do this at your first pool session, is you will, sorry, my dog, you will be clearing your ears. So that's very important. Clearing your ears, obviously, Gabrielle will get more into that. If you're like sick at all the day before you're going to go on a dive, not super sick, just like sinusy sick, take a Sudafed and then we'll try to figure it out. Okay. So respiration, circulation. So the air that we breathe is 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and 1% other. This is the same as what's in your air cylinders. Hemoglobin, as you know, you can read this, 45% of what's in your blood, it carries oxygen in and carbon dioxide out. No, sorry. Yeah. And then hyperventilation. So this is not something that we're really going to deal with. This is more something that skin divers and free divers deal with, which is what this talks about. So again, I'm not going to get into this too much because it's not really a problem that we have. It's just something that happens more for people who free dive, and sometimes scuba divers help them. So let's see, air to water contrast. So the density in the water is 800 times more than on land. There's drag forces with all the gear. You'll notice this too. When you have your gear on, you have your BC and any of the other things. If you're out in the ocean, you'll have your, you know, things attached to you or whatever. So you'll figure that more out at the pool sessions. So light travel, as it says, it's 20% slower in water. And buoyancy. So this is Archimedes' principle. We'll talk about that more later on. But basically it has to do with pressure. So let me see. Okay. Yep. And then pressure, we'll talk about that a little bit more too, but as you can see here, it's 14.7 is 33 FSW, which is feet of seawater, which is absolute pressure. So Boyle's law and pressure. So one of the most important things that, well, Boyle's is one of the most important scuba laws. So pressure and volume are inversely proportioned when you're in the water. And at surface, we have atmosphere absolute. And so at every 33 feet, we add another atmosphere absolute. So as you can see here at surface, we have 1, at 33 feet of seawater, we have 2, at 66, we have 3, and at 99, we have 4. So basically that's like if we are on the surface and we descend to 33 feet of seawater, now we're at the 2, and that's just going to change the amount of pressure within the pressure and volume. So you'll feel that like in your mask. So as you go down deeper into the water, you'll feel your mask tighten around your face. And that's because the volume within your mask with the pressure. So as the pressure is increasing, the volume is decreasing. Let's see. So other Boyle's law effects is breathing volume. This is just going to change your ability to breathe. So at surface, if you have like an hour, if you can breathe on a cylinder, say at surface for an hour, at 33 feet, it would be half of that. At 66 feet, it would be, you know, 1/3 of that. And then at 99 feet, it would be 1/4 of that. So another day we have more time, we'll do that math. So ear clearing, you're just going to have to keep doing that because, of course, again, your ears have air pockets. So as pressure increases, that volume is decreasing, which is why you want to clear your ears a lot. And again, we talked about this mask squeeze. So kind of like when Victor was explaining getting a mask. So when you put the mask on your face and then you see if it fits by like sucking in, you're going to kind of feel that in the water, which is a really good reason to get a mask that fits well, not just for leaking, but sometimes if you have like a mask that's too tight and you go in the water, you're not only are you going to come out with like rings all around your face, you can almost kind of be like black and blue, like bruised, or your lips are purple. So get a good fitting mask. Wetsuit compression, your wetsuits also have air pockets. So you'll feel, or sometimes you'll feel, you might not feel it, but basically it's going to become tighter as you get deeper into the water. And this is what causes pressure injuries as well. Let's see. So Dalton's law, this is understanding partial pressure. As we said before, the same thing that's on air that you're breathing is in your air cylinder, 78 nitrogen, 21% oxygen, 1% other. Dalton's law is basically saying that each of those acts independently of each other. Henry's law, absorption of gases in your body. So this is, Gabrielle likes to refer to this one, and other dive coaches too, or trainers, is sort of like thinking about an old man sitting on the porch with his soda. Like if someone gives him a shaken soda, he doesn't want to just go ahead and open it because it's, you know, gonna explode. So kind of like in your body, the same. It's like the pressure is like the carbon dioxide. So particularly on ascent, you're trying to control the gases within your body. So like nitrogen in ascent. So it's that's why I don't know if I saw it in this or another one, I'm sorry. So then you have to like keep breathing, because basically almost if you think about like your lungs being the soda bottle, if you were down and they were pressured and then you're either holding your breath or, you know, not breathing, then, you know, your lungs were smaller and now they're going to get bigger and they're going to explode. So you definitely want to keep in mind to always breathe. And Gabrielle will really get on you about this at the pool, not get on you, but she'll teach you and she'll tell you and she'll show you, and so will we. And if we ever see you kind of holding your breath, which happens, right, when you're like processing a lot of thought and doing a lot of new things, or like a little bit stressed out by like all these new tasks and stuff, we tend to kind of hold our breath sometimes. So, you know, just a reminder, always breathe in, breathe out. So short, slow breaths in, blow out. And you just want to keep on doing that all the time when you're in scuba. That's very important. You'll hear that again and again. So talked about this already. Air consumption, how long will your air last? This is going to change varied upon like your dive plan. So how long you're spending at deeper, you know, levels. With an open water, you're going to go to 60 feet at max. This isn't where you're going to spend a bunch of your time, unless this is like you're only doing one dive, but you'll learn a little bit about this later. And this is kind of like what we talked about before. This is going to change. So if you're an hour at the surface at 33 feet, you're at half of that. So it would be 30 minutes. Normally we'd ask you guys to do this math, but it's late, so we won't. So then at 99 feet, it would again be a quarter of that. So you'd be 15 minutes. So if, you know, you'll learn more about breathing rates later, but in essence, the deeper you go, the more and faster you will consume your air. So heat loss in water, Victor was mentioning this with the booties. You want to dress for the temperature. Even if you think you don't get cold, this happened one of the last times I was diving in the spring. So it's like, oh, I never get cold. That's usually because when you're probably in the spring, you're playing, you're swimming, you're hanging out with your friends, you're moving around a lot. Scuba, even though it is a moving and it's a sport and it's the thing, a lot of the times you're trying to see stuff, and especially when you're doing like activities under the water, you are going to get cold. And we always say you have to wear a wetsuit, anything, you know, cooler than 80 degrees, unless you're like a person who does like polar bear swims, then you're definitely going to want to do this. Definitely get a wetsuit, particularly in the springs. But if you're going to go at depth, it's going to be colder. It's not like what's at the surface. Like it's, you know, so get a good wetsuit. And let's see, vision underwater. I feel like most people know this, but underwater objects appear closer than they are. So you might be like, oh, look, this fish is like right here in front of me. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, if you've just been swimming around or snorkeling, but if you go to reach for the fish, it's not really where he was, aside from the fact that he's going to swim away. And also don't touch marine life, but they're actually further. So it just, objects appear closer. And let's see, and larger. So you know, you're gonna go, you know, diving, you're gonna see a bunch of cool stuff. You're gonna be like, oh man, that thing was so close to me. It was swimming right next to me and it was also freaking huge. And then in reality, that's not what's happened, but you can tell all your friends on surface that they won't know. Oh, and I guess I just answered that question for you. Sorry, as we speed through this. Colors change too. So again, we normally ask you guys this, but the first color to go is red, and it kind of goes with the whole Roy G. Biv, you know, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, violet. In science diving, especially in murky, murky, murky water, we all wear pink gloves, and it's not because everybody likes pink, it's because it's one of the only things that you can see even with a flashlight in very murky waters. So something to keep in mind if that's what you plan on doing. But yeah, red's the first color to go. Okay, sound and hearing. So again, it sounds closer, but it's actually obviously not. And it's all, and you also can't tell where it's coming from, right? Because like the vibrations of the water, the sound waves, they move very differently than they do on land. So you're going to hear things a lot more loud, a lot closer to you, but you won't be able to tell exactly what direction they come in. are coming from. And so don't try to communicate like that underwater, you know, make sure, and we'll teach you hand signals and stuff like that, and how you're, you know, you communicate with your buddy a little later. But yeah, you can't hear your buddy talking most of the time. So that's the end of module 1. We went through anatomy, effects in the water, respiration and circulation, buoyancy and drag. Again, you'll practice buoyancy in the pool, and you'll practice it a lot more on your first open water dive. Very important. It's going to make diving a whole lot better if you get your buoyancy down. So keep that in mind. Don't just think about it like, oh, it doesn't matter. It's a big deal, because it'll lessen your air consumption rapidity, and also just make your diving a whole lot better. Light, sound, and pressure, and all of these are caused by changes in density. And that's it.
All right, thank you. Who's after you?
Oh, let me see.
Jacob.
Is that
It's Jacob.
Jacob?
Yep.
You ready, Jacob?
Yeah.
All right, take over then.
Yeah.
Right. So module 2. Can you hear me all right?
We can hear you fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Module 2, challenges going underwater, your body, mind, and diving. Diving adjustments, diving physics, thermal adjustments, buoyancy, breathing, hard lungs and gassing, outgassing, mobility adjustments, just the order of the dive. Diving physics, the physical difference, air to water, applying the laws of physics, how those affect our bodies and how we must adjust to the changes. Depth, pressure, volumes, gas composition, and absorption are all different changes we have to adjust for. Measuring air pressure, showing a column of air like a 3D model and the equivalent of it. So as the pressure increases, volume decreases. Air is compressible, the volume varies inversely with the pressure. As part of Boyle's law, 1 cubic foot of air, my computer's being slow. Air is 0.8, 62.4 for freshwater and 64 for salt water. Water is approximately 800 times denser than air, which Ximena said in an earlier slide. Measuring water pressure in PSI, 33 feet of salt water is equal to 14.7 PSI. You add it to air pressure, gives you 29.4. It's 33 feet.
Yeah, one second, Jacob. PSI stands for pounds per square inch. So that's the amount of weight, pressure that is exerted to 1 square inch on any surface. And that's how the pressure is measured. Go on. So I was just complimenting.
Yeah. 0 feet, 1 atmosphere at sea level. At 33, it's 2 atmospheres. 66, it is 3 atmospheres. 99 is 4. And some more Boyle's law, how an object filled with air, it's a closed volume, how it compresses to different sizes as it goes down and increases in pressure. 33, it's a half. 66, it's a third. 99, it's a fourth. It's Boyle's balloons.
Wait, Jacob, why is it Boyle's balloons? What object were we referring to?
The balloon object compressing with air in it.
Yeah, so
under
if you
pressure.
actually took a balloon, right, and you brought it to depth, this is what would happen. It would shrink. And I think that's important for people to know, that that's why that analogy is there. So every single atmosphere absolute that you descend, you are what's happening?
decreases in size.
Yeah, the volume decreases as the pressure increases. Okay. Go ahead.
Lungs on scuba, very similar. Your lungs are kind of like little balloons inside your body. As you go down, if you were a free diver holding your breath, your lungs would compress. If you're on scuba, you don't want to hold your breath because as you come up, your lungs will expand.
So, Jacob, someone asked a question in the chat box. Why do you use more air if your lungs decrease?
Is that referring to scuba, I'm assuming?
I'm sure she's referring to scuba.
Yeah. When you go down, you're still breathing a full lungful. The thing is, whenever you're down there, all the air is compressed. So when you're breathing in one lungful of air, you're really breathing in. Let's say you're at 33 feet, you're breathing in twice as much as you would at the surface. I'm assuming that answered the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So why does a scuba diver need to exhale on the ascent? To relieve the pressure so the pressure can't build up. And whenever you take your regulator out, you'll learn to never hold your breath and you'll blow bubbles the entire time. Cardinal rule for scuba, always breathe, never hold your breath. We're gonna go over that quite a few times. It's very important. Thermal adjustments, you can get hypothermia if it's very, I guess that's for temperature increase. Main places on the body is head and neck, underarms, torso, and hands and feet. Those are the main places you want to have covered with a wetsuit. And this person is wearing a two-piece. Heating, you can also get heat exhaustion. So when putting on the wetsuits, you don't want to be out of the water for a long time. Temperature extremes, wetsuits for below 80, thermal suits, usually dry suits for very cold environments. Buoyancy at work, two divers. Archimedes principle. An object submerged in water will be buoyed up by the weight of the water it displaces. In the following examples, will you float, sink, or be neutral? I think we'll skip over the asking questions for the answers.
No. You can go ahead and do that, please. No, we don't. We want to have some interaction, okay?
All right. So 1 cubic foot of salt water, 64 pounds, 58 pounds for the rock, it's displacing 64 pounds. So does anyone think that this rock will sink or float or be neutral?
Sink.
Once it's
We have
sink,
one person saying sink. Come on, we want to hear from people.
Sink.
all right, 2 sinks. Anybody else? Okay. And it will float because it's weighing less, it's less dense than the water it's displacing, so it will float. For another one here, oops.
Remember, always practice your builds. You already gave away the answer. Always practice your builds. Always practice, okay?
I did. It's just
go ahead
slow.
and go ahead.
You want me to skip to the next one, or?
Well, just tell them what you just revealed and then skip to the next one, okay?
So because this one is 68 pounds, it's more dense than the water it displaces. So this will sink. So this is 64 and 64. Does anyone think it'll sink, float, or be neutral?
Neutral.
And a bunch of people are typing
Neutral.
in the chat box, neutral.
Okay. And yes, it is neutral. Shape of object, factors affecting buoyancy. Size and weight of the diver, type and amount of equipment, the amount of weight worn, thickness of the wetsuit, amount of air in the BC, amount of air in the cylinder, amount of air in the lungs, and BC and lungs, they will both be changing during the dive. Wetsuit compression at depth, items carried on the dive, and water versus, or fresh water versus seawater. You'll need more weight in the salt water, adjusted through the dive as the lungs BC. Buoyancy at depth. So we got diver negative, diver positive, diver neutral. This is how we can kind of tell if a diver has too much weight or too little weight. If they're underweighted, typically they'll be very head down. If they're overweighted, they'll be very head up, trying to keep off the bottom or just try and keep up. It relates to workload, air usage, diving comfort, and stress level. Less resistance, less work for if you're in neutral and in trim. And this is where I hand it off.
All right, thanks, Jacob. So we have some questions in the chat box. What's the weight of the equipment we have to wear? That's a good question. So yeah, probably about what, 40 pounds or so, maybe? We tend to not overweight people with weights. A lot of people wear a lot of weight. If you're certified by other agencies, we're really, really big on making sure that you get your form and your trim good so that you're not overweighted. So you're going to be carrying a lot less weight with us than you would with other people. So, but when you're in the water, you don't feel it at all.
Okay. Were there any other questions, or was that it?
I think that was it.
Okay.
Thanks, Ronny.
So we were talking about ears earlier, but we were just talking about Boyle's law. So one of the air cavities that we have in our body is our ears, which is why one of the things that we say is clear early and often. So looking at the ear, we have multiple parts. The air cavity is within the middle and inner ear. The inner ear is also important for balance and motor coordination. It's where all your nerves connect to. So here's your ear and sinus anatomy. And then you also have sinuses, which are also air cavities, and that's all around your head. So like Ximena said earlier, being sick can affect your fluid buildups and your congestion and things like that, which can cause pressure buildup, especially while diving. So here we have an eardrum in its normal state. It's at equilibrium. It's there's no pressure gradients pushing on it. So this one, we have an eardrum showing a squeeze. So this is the reason that we have you clear. It uses the eustachian tube to help release the pressure. So when you release the pressure, it allows the two sides to become in equilibrium. So that way you're not putting pressure on one side or the other. So you can have either a squeeze on the way down or a squeeze on the way up. So the way that you solve this is if you're feeling pain on the way down, you should never be in pain while scuba diving. It should be a pleasant and recreational situation. And what you do is if it hurts going down, you come up a little bit, keep clearing. And then once you get it to clear, go back down. Same with going up. This one's a little rare. If it's for whatever reason, if you're having problems coming up, you go back down a little bit, clear, and then come back up. But like I was saying earlier, one of the most important things is clear early and often. So within we're going to tell you at the surface, clear your ears. And then within the first couple of feet, we want you to clear your ears again as it builds up. We don't want it to be painful. So just as you feel the pressure, you need to get rid of it and clear. So middle ear barotrauma. So you have the signs and symptoms, a feeling of clogged or stuffed ears, ear discomfort or pain. Pain increases with descent during diving, fluid buildup and bleeding, and then eardrum rupture leading to vertigo and hearing loss. That's obviously in a severe case. So this is why we tell you to clear early and often. We don't want you to hurt anything like your eardrums or to get vertigo underwater. Obviously, that would be very disorienting, to say the least. So some of the things that we have ear protection. So Doc Pro plugs are the first thing we're going to recommend. They're really easy to use. They're the only plugs certified for scuba diving. They are vented. You can see the little dot in there that allows it to equalize. Gabrielle is a distributor, so it's going to be cheaper to get it from her than anywhere else. Like it says, $15 for the regular, $20 for the leashed. We highly recommend the leashed because they do have a tendency to pop out while diving. And if you just have the regular ones, they'd just be kind of lost, especially out in the ocean. We also have, Gabrielle also has the ear shields, which is a mineral oil that you squirt into your ear. And she's a distributor for that as well. And you can use that to help prevent water buildup and stuff like that. It can also help get the water out if it's already in there. Alcohol does a similar thing. And then another thing that we recommend for everyone is Dramamine. So if you're prone, sorry, not Dramamine, Sudafed, there we go. Sudafed, the decongestant. I got confused. The other one's for boat sickness, sorry. So Sudafed to help with the congestion if you were prone to that especially. And you have to take it beforehand. Sometimes we'll even suggest taking it like the night before to let it like sit in your system before going boat diving or something like that. So Valsalva maneuver, this is easily the most important maneuver, the most common maneuver that we use to equalize our ears and our vestibular tubes, our eustachian tubes, Jesus. So you can see this guy doing the motion. So I'm going to describe it first before we all practice it. So gently forcing air up the eustachian tubes, like I was mentioning. So you want to equalize every 2 to 4 feet on descent. And if it were to happen, if you were to have the reverse ear block for whatever reason, often sickness, you could do the same thing, go down a little bit, clear, and then come back up. So these are all the ear clearing maneuvers that we have. So I guess I will go ahead and stop sharing real quick. That way we can practice it together. Okay. So so everyone, I want you to try to do this with me, essentially. So ear clearing Valsalva maneuver, that's the most common one, like I said. Pinch your nose, and you do this all gently. Nothing should be hurting. Don't squeeze down, don't mash, don't blow hard, don't injure yourself doing any of these techniques. It should be a light pressure and you should kind of feel it pop. So pinch your nose, gently blow air through your nose, and you should feel it pop. Okay. If you've gone flying, you might be familiar with this technique also. So voluntary tubal opening, tense your throat and push your jaw forward. So you just kind of try to like move that lower jaw forward. And you tense your muscles back here. And some of these techniques work for some people, not for others. So if one doesn't work, try another. And also they differ depending on land and in water is also going to change. So remember all of these as much as you can, try different things out, see which works best for you. Gabrielle doesn't use her hands at all to do any of her ear clearing. So if you're comfortable with it, you can do something like that as well. But again, practice makes perfect. All right, so next we have the Toynbee maneuver. You're going to pinch your nose and swallow. Sometimes just swallowing alone is enough to get it clear for me, honestly. Next, we have the Frenzel maneuver. Pinch your nose and make the sound of the letter K. Okay. Next, we have the Lowry technique. Pinch your nose, blow, and swallow. So this is starting to combine a couple different techniques. And then finally, we have the Edmonds technique. Pinch your nose, blow, and push your jaw forward. So slightly different. And again, don't do anything too hard. Don't want to injure yourself. Okay. Very good, everyone. Thank you very much.
I found sometimes if you look up, if you're having problems.
Yes, that's true too, especially underwater, that will help. Okay. All right, so then we have breathing adjustments. So we have lung overexpansion that has to do with Boyle's law, like Jacob was talking about. So you never hold your breath while scuba diving. Absolutely never hold your breath while scuba diving. Even when you have the regulator out of your mouth, we're going to go over this in the pool session, obviously. But even when you have the regulator out of your mouth, even if you have no air in your cylinder, you blow bubbles. And that's a safety measure for Boyle's law to make sure you're not going to injure your lungs with overexpansion. Do not skip breathe. So we want you to breathe normally. You know, don't try to make your cylinder last longer by trying to do these, special techniques. We just want you breathing calmly and normally. Need for clean breathing gas. So especially once you get to advanced nitrox, we'll teach you how to analyze cylinder contents and things of that nature. But we also have things like VIP inspections and stuff like that to check cylinders and whatnot. And then, like I said earlier, the cardinal rule of diving, always breathe, never hold your breath. There's no reason to be holding your breath. You've got an entire supply on your back. And, we always want you coming back up with 500. So, you should never be sucking every last drop out of the cylinders. We want you to be safe recreational divers. This is enjoyable. So part of the reason we tell you to always breathe, never hold your breath, is for these reasons: barotraumas. So you have pneumothorax, mediastinal emphysema, subcutaneous emphysema, and arterial gas embolisms. So heart and lungs, you're going to be under a workload. So your heart's going to be working 1.3 to 1.5 times harder. This is because of water pressure, workload, cold water, elevated stress from a new environment. So normal heart is stressed, so you must be physically fit to dive. And it's part of the reason we have you fill out the medical forms as a safety thing. And then equilibrium adjustments, you have the middle ears. Like I was saying earlier, that's a air cavity that you want to take care of. Your semicircular canals, where you can have alternobaric vertigo, can cause dizziness, and can result in upset stomach, especially if you get water in your ear, especially deep into your ear, and it's pushing up on those nerves and things of the physical parts that connect to the nerve. It can cause a lot of vertigo and be very disorienting. Avoiding seasickness, so like we were saying, watch what you eat, what you smell, movement on the boat, keep your eyes on the horizon, don't close your eyes, don't look down, that'll actually make it worse. Make sure you're hydrated, make sure you eat well. A lot of people make the mistake of when we go boat diving, they say, oh, it's too early. I don't want to eat something that early in the morning, but please bring something. Bring a protein bar, bring a snack, bring something that you can get on your stomach, because a lot of people will start getting cramps or all kinds of stuff because they just didn't want to eat in the morning. So take care of yourself before a dive. It's very important. Don't go drinking or smoking or anything like that. I think this was the end of my section. Can't quite remember. I can keep going if not, though.
I think I started 77.
Oh, 77. All right, I can keep going then. So visual adjustments. So objects are going to appear, like Ximena said, closer and larger than they actually are. You also have light loss at depth. This is mostly due to turbidity, so particles in the water. But also it's going to be linked with depth and surface light. So obviously if you're in an overhead environment, you're gonna have less light. Colors change too. Ahmed mentioned that earlier as well. It changes in this order. So as you go down, the first object that disappears, first color that disappears is red. And then it goes down the line: orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. So what will a red object look like when taken to 50 feet? Gabrielle's masks and fins are actually red. So if you pay attention to her without any lights, extra lights put on her, you can actually see it there. It will start to look gray and washed out. So you can kind of see it here where the flash from the camera is added. So light is being added back to this environment. You can see all these vibrant colors that are being reflected back into the lens. Whereas back here, it's all the same stuff, but it looks very different because you don't have the added light. All of the light that's available is coming from the sun up here that has now lost its red, orange, and yellows. So now everything's going to be a more washed out grayish blue. And then here's another one. So up front, you've got all these nice vibrant colors. And then as it starts to fade, you start to lose those colors because there's nothing to add those colors back in, add that energy back in. So in-gassing and out-gassing. So when you're diving, nitrogen is absorbed and oxygen is used. The nitrogen is going to be absorbed into your body tissues and it's released upon ascent. This is the reason that we harp very hard on ascent rates. It's going to feel very slow. It's hand over hand is what we say, but it's going to feel very slow. I'm just going to let you know. First time I went diving, I was very surprised how slow you ascend. And this is for safety reasons, not only for Boyle's law and things of that nature, but also Henry's law and the creation of bubbles and cavitations within your bloodstream. So this is also the reason that we have safety stops. So one of the hand signals that we'll teach you later on is 3-minute safety stop. So that means you hold at 15 feet underwater, you hold for 3 minutes, and this is to allow yourself to off gas. So you've on gassed while diving, especially the deeper you go, the more you on gas or in gas. And then when you come back at the safety stop, you are now off gassing before you come back to the surface. And then that's also what the surface intervals are for. Surface intervals are so you can off gas before you start your next dive. And that way it allows it to be more safe. And then decompression, sickness, illness, signs and symptoms. So this is the reason that you want to have a good ascent rate. This is the reasons you want to have safety stops. This is the reason you don't hold your breath. This is the reason you don't bolt to the surface, all those kinds of things. And then the way you deal with that is first aid. So you have oxygen, 100% oxygen for the entire trip back, as long as you can give that person oxygen and then recompress them in a hyperbaric chamber. And then obviously the hyperbaric chambers are a very science intensive process where they step you down and repressurize you to decrease the bubble and then metabolize it in a safe way. So reducing risk. So like I was saying before, ascent rate, 30 feet, less than 30 feet per minute. So hand over hand, it's going to feel very slow. It's a little bit easier when we're at Panama City on the boat, because we have a rope there that you can literally feel hand over hand what it feels like to go that slow. But in general, we're not using ropes. So you're just gonna have to, we're gonna show you, just pay attention to us. You should not be rising faster than us. Stay with us while we're doing our ascents, especially when during the safety stops. And like I was saying, safety stops 15 feet for 3 minutes. You can extend it for an additional 2 minutes if you come up too fast. You should extend it for an additional 2 minutes, I should say. Recognizing a problem, recognizing decompression sickness. Joint pain is the most common symptom. So obviously this isn't going to be like if you injured your knee playing football or soccer or softball or whatever it was. And you know, it's a common joint problem. This is like you've never had a problem in this joint, in your shoulder, in your elbow, and in your wrist, or something like, you know, your knee and your ankle, and it's never been there before. And that's the most common one. However, you can also have tingling, lateral paralysis, limited use of legs, vision problems, dizziness to unconsciousness, well, some other issues. So definitely want to practice safe diving, avoid those problems. So you have first aid treatment, you have safe scene, ABCs, airway, breathing, and circulation. Some people do CABs depending on which convention you're doing. It's the same thing though, just different order. Lay flat. A lot of times you'll elevate the legs as well to help pull blood into your torso. Call for help immediately. The sooner you can call help, the better it is for their survivability and for their health. 100% oxygen, like I said, don't skimp on the oxygen. Give them as much oxygen as you can for as long as possible. Honestly, a lot of the mild decompression sicknesses and illness that happens can be solved just with 100% oxygen, but obviously you also want to be recompressed, especially if it was a severe illness and you don't want to, chance something like that. So better safe than sorry. And then you have different styles of recompression, hyperbaric chambers. Some are large and can fit entire teams. Some are very tiny and barely fit one person, especially depending on where you are in the world. The technology can vary. If you are unsure, call the Divers Alert Network. This is a very important network. We use them, we're insured through them. All divers know about them. Anyone can call them with any kind of problem and they will help you get the information and assistance that you need. Very knowledgeable and networked company. And then my final slide, dehydration. Like I was saying earlier, take care of your body before a dive. Even though we're in the water the entire time, you're going to be sweating, you're going to be exerting yourself, you're carrying heavy equipment. You need to hydrate yourself. But we also want you to be aware of diuretic effects. So we want you to avoid diuretic drinks such as alcohol, teas, sodas. Smoking also is very diuretic. It takes a lot of water out of you. So we want you to hydrate frequently. You know, you're not going to feel like you're thirsty because you're in the water the whole time, but that's how you get cramps as well. So take care of yourself. And then I believe that is the end of my slide.
Any question to this point? Anyone has a comment?
I need to be co-host, Gabrielle. Sorry about that.
I'm so sorry. I thought I had made you a co-host. My apologies. One moment, working on it now. All right, you are now a co-host. Thought I got everybody. I'm still dealing with a little bit of an emergency here. By the way, for anyone, the people who couldn't make it, I think I got everybody. We now have a pool session scheduled for the 12th. Okay, so we're gonna get everybody in the pool, I think, by the 16th. If I didn't message you, just let me know. And we are gonna have one on Wednesday, the 12th. So, and then somebody put in the chat box, there was a question there. Will we need a wetsuit for checkout dives? The answer is yes, in the springs, but I have a lot of wetsuits to fit everybody. So that's why I'm having you fill out the weight thing, so that in fact, I'll put that in the chat box. I'll put what the URL is so everyone can start to fill it out, but that'll help me know how to size you for your wetsuits. Okay, go ahead and take it away, Bill. Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Thanks. Good information. So we're going to look at mobility adjustments here. And part of mobility adjustments is going to be lifting heavy gear, got your cylinders on your back, and everything else associated with diving. Walking with fins. Sometimes you do that, sometimes you don't. Drag and current. What you have dragging, like any computers or anything else that's dragging against the current, will slow you down and make you work harder. And streamlining gear, kind of going along with what I just said, you want to try to streamline your gear as close to your body as much as possible. And nitrogen narcosis, first aid. So you want to ascend to a shallower depth, and typically it'll go away once you do that, or start to go away at least. Onset and relief of symptoms is rapid and directly related to depth. Prevention, avoid deep dives, ascend when symptoms first occur, and reduce nitrogen in the gas mixture. So nitrogen narcosis, an old incorrect notion of inert gas narcosis compared narcosis to the effects of alcohol, or Martini's law, which is not that correct. So hazardous marine animals, we're going to look at some of the things that might be able to hurt you out there, and then some of the things you can do to help relieve that pain if you do get into that situation. So sea urchin punctures, remove the spines. Don't worry about pieces remaining in the skin. You want to clean around the area, soak wound in hot water, 115 degrees for 30 to 90 minutes, and see a physician if not a simple wound or spines are in the joints. Sponge dermatitis, so sponges can sting you, so you don't want to rub the wound. Soak wound in hot water, or I'm sorry, household vinegar for 15 minutes. Use adhesive tape to remove the sponge tissue and the small spicules, and use hydrocortisone for the inflammation. And then you get into allergic reactions from some of these or other bites or stings or just rubs. So the allergic reaction, including jellyfish, you want to remove the tentacles with tweezers. You don't want to flush the area with fresh water, obviously, counter to contrary or popular belief. You don't want to urinate on the wound. That's not something you want to do. You shave the area with a shaving cream and a razor to remove the nematosis. You want to soak in hot water, 115 degrees for 30 to 90 minutes. Use topical pain relievers or steroids. For box jellyfish, use diluted vinegar and do not rub it, and be prepared to provide CPR or evacuate. Box jellyfish are very bad. All right, preparing equipment, and I'm gonna go over this a little quicker because we're gonna be going over it with you by the pool side, and it's gonna make a lot more sense with the equipment there. So I'm just kind of breeze through this. Okay, so the first things you have is the first stage regulator. You always want to put the O-ring out to the back of your head, and that'll make more sense once we're beside the pool. So mounting the BC, you just want to slide it down over the cylinder again with the O-ring to the back of your head. The O-ring will also go to the back of your BC. Top of the backpack, mid-valve, and that's about where you want to have it positioned at for it to be comfortable. Probably a little bit lower on the cylinder, I would imagine. It's different for each BC. And tighten securely. You do want to make sure that the cylinders are tightened securely. The last thing you want is to begin a dive and have that cylinder come loose and drop out of the strap and then pull it on your hoses. Nothing good. Not very fun at all. So the regulator is next. So we call this the octopus. See, they have a second stage regulator there. It's different from the first stage. The first two pictures are first stage regulators. They take the high pressure in the tank and reduce it down to a volume that the second stage regulator can handle. Another picture of a second stage. And this is the whole thing all together. And this is what you'll see at the pool session. Maybe a little bit different equipment, but that's the gist of what you'll be seeing. So where do the hoses go? That's a good question. All right. So stand behind the cylinder. Second stage is on your right. Your breathing apparatus, as that is, going to be on your right. The gauges and the BC hose will be on your left side, standing behind your cylinder. Again, we'll go over this at the pool. So where does the air come from? Where does the air go? Put those points together right there. So you want to put those together. We'll show you how to do it again by the pool. I'm not going to try to explain this part here, just on a slide. And hooking up hoses. So the air inflator hose will go to the power inflator. You can kind of see it down at the bottom there. You'll hook those two pieces in together. And when you press the magic button, it'll put air in your BC. And a different button will take that out. You can see it there. They're plugging it in to the power inflator, and the power inflator hose, it has a quick disconnect. And then they're finally mounting their gauge set so that it's not hanging around loose like we talked about earlier, dragging in the water. I'll try to get as streamlined as possible. And then finally they're hooking up the second stage octo that you'll be loaning out to someone who may run out of air or be low on air. And the module 2 summary is where I hand it over to Gabrielle.
All right, thank you very much. Actually, do you mind just clicking forward and rather than me screen sharing? And
Sure.
I'll just speak the next slide, and then I'll have you stop sharing after that. So, all right. So basically, we really need to get you ready for your swim test. So go ahead and move forward in the next. Yeah, there we go. These are the swimming requirements, and you'll notice that I have the exit requirements in yellow. So because we're only doing one pool session, and let me just say, this is our plan, right? If anyone struggles with skills and doesn't pass the skills, it's okay. Doesn't mean you're done. We're going to add pool sessions for you. We often do need to add pool sessions for people. But we're hoping that if you're already comfortable in the water, that you'll be able to pass these exit requirements. From my experience, the hardest thing for most people is the 50-foot underwater swim. The standards say without push off. My instructor allowed me to have a push off. Therefore, I hold my students for the same standards. You can give yourself a push off. Get in a pool and practice the underwater swim. Okay. The 300-yard surface swim is next. That can be any kind of stroke you want. You want to use energy saving ones rather than energy consuming strokes. So those of you who are really experienced swimmers, this is going to be so easy for you. Those of you who are not, do not freestyle. Okay. Don't do a freestyle that you will wear yourself out unless you are an experienced swimmer. You really want to do an elementary backstroke, a side stroke, a breaststroke. You can even doggy paddle. What you can't do is just hang on to the side. Now, the final skill is a 15-minute tread water. This is easy for most people unless you have no body fat. If you have no body fat or you have a really hard time floating, you can do a survival float where you can hold air in your lungs and just float. And you can just kind of lean your head back, hold air in your lungs, and you'll be fine. I would say the underwater swim is what we have the hardest, people have the hardest time with. Thanks for sharing, Bill. You can stop sharing if you want now. Any questions about that? While I'm working on this, let me just say that we have a couple of things happen in the chat box during. The best way to reach me is going to be by text after this. And Jacob reminded me that there is still a supply shortage out there. So if you go to the dive store and you don't find what you need, including boot sizes, I have extra boots. So just tell me, hey, I'm a size 8. Can you possibly bring a size 8? And most of the time I can accommodate. If I have 2 people who are size 10, I only have 1 size 10 and I have like 3 size 11s. So you may end up with a size 11 if you're a 10, but other than that, I can normally accommodate. So, yeah, let's see, what else was I going to cover? Oh, safety precautions. You might have noticed, those of you who've met with me in person, I wear a mask. I am very immunocompromised. I have leukemia, and I do almost everything outdoors, and I try to be really, really safe, but I don't have a functioning immune system at all, like not at all. And Mayo Clinic doctors have told me anything could kill me, anything. So I am trying to balance living my life and continuing with safety. And so I know it might seem inconvenient to you, but I'm really going to ask you for my safety and everybody else's safety. Even though it feels like COVID is over, it's not quite over yet. Please do be willing to get a COVID test before we meet in person within 24 hours. You can even do a rapid test. You can do a home test, whatever, even if you're vaccinated. It's all in the Q&A. But please do that. And then if it's not too inconvenient for you when we meet in person, wear a mask around me, especially. I really want to keep everybody safe if possible. So, I would love it if everyone just would be very careful. And during the pandemic, we were one of the only groups that actually continued to teach scuba. We took a short pause and then we jumped right back in. And I follow all Divers Alert Network protocols and then some. So the protocols of cleaning and that kind of thing, I'm very meticulous about. So my goal is for everybody to stay healthy. We would do no good if we got together and then half of us ended up sick with whatever. There's a lot of other things beside COVID that's out there. So I want to keep everybody healthy. So if you have any symptoms whatsoever of anything, flu, whatever, please let us know. Stay away. We'll reschedule you. Okay. I believe we have now everybody's scheduled for pool sessions. We now have 2 pool sessions. We have the 12th and the 16th. Did I miss anyone? Good. All right. Any final thoughts or questions? We will be adding other checkout dives. Don't worry about that part. In fact, I'll be doing some during the week and all kinds of things. So don't worry about that part. Anything else? My teaching team, anything else? Thank you for being here. You guys are awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much. I will follow up with an email by tomorrow that will have the entire schedule that we agreed to, plus the recording to tonight's lecture. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Thank you.
All
Good night,
right.
everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.